Hello, trading is closed on April 7th, 2020. Let's go over our calls. Look for the pattern with the early low. This is it. Tomorrow also has the early low. We said unless there's weakness in the first 1 to 2 hours, tends to be a positive day. That weakness usually leads to further weakness in days to come. It was a down day unless it's invalidated by gapping and taking this high out early. You should see further weakness, but there is a higher target. So I'm going to go with the higher target unless we gap down smartly. Let's go over some of the things. Here we had a move that was big, but MEJT says it's false. Gives us a target of 27.35.52, most likely to print tomorrow. There's an ultimate buy signal with the same target over this. I'm going to go with that. Starting out with a high, ending with the low is a negative pattern. But until this wall in the last 10 minutes, which was apparently due to a news event, we had recovered all the lows after dropping all day long. These moves at the end aren't always the real thing, and going down all day and then closing over the lows is actually a positive sign. So I do think it's a chance we gap up over this high tomorrow. Not a guarantee. Well, here's what we said. The only thing I was going to call was the pattern. We still have these breakouts over the DeMark lines, the TD lines, that weren't invalidated today. You can go all the way down to the line without invalidating them, but unless you close under them pretty fast, like a day, or tomorrow's open, these tend to lead to higher prices, although I don't believe the higher targets that they're calling for. There is resistance here because you've rallied up to this declining upper Bollinger Band, but that's resistance. Typically you'll touch it, which hasn't happened yet, and although it looks pretty close, it's actually more than 100 handles away from today's close. So these are pretty wild swings, kind of a confusing picture. Here's what I have. Wednesday's pattern has the early low, doesn't mean you won't gap up. Mixed signals, and these are the rules. It's bullish, there's a higher target, an unsatisfied ultimate buy signal. Unless we get down smartly, I was going to say that's going to print, but it's negative that we close lower. Again, if we gap over the high, that negativity goes away. We're going to use for mixed signals the rallies at resistance. Unless to reverse the gains of the last 2 days, a hard drop, which I can't rule out. Unless that happens, I'm not yet convinced the high of this rally leg's in, although ultimately it will fail. So tomorrow has the early low. Most likely thing is we gap outside the day's range, or at least move outside it quickly. In spite of this negative action, I'm not ruling out gapping over the high because I want that target to print. Don't always get everything I want, and that's today's call.